Hello everyone, so I've just got a small haul for you today, something that I picked up at my local test store. With that, I also have some additional information for the second wave of fall scents, and so I'll give a quick overview of what I've got here, talk about the new info, and then give an in-depth review of Bonfire Maplewood, which I'm super excited about. So as you see here, this is one of the few times that I actually have paid full price for a 3-wick candle. I've done it a couple of times in the past, but I generally stick to the 3 for $20 when it's 2 for $20 and the survey coupon. With this though, I wanted to get this reviewed, I wanted to purchase it, and there were this other thing, the Mrs. Frankenstein you see here, I also wanted to get before it sold out if it was in limited quantities, which it may be, and so I just, I figured I'd go for it. So with this here, I did $20 for the candle, $5 for the 2 minis, and $6.50 for the Candleholder figural, so altogether it was around $33, with survey coupon right around $22, $23. So not terrible, not the best, but it was worth it, I think, for today's purposes. So just as we start here, this is a very large, actually, Mrs. Frankenstein, I guess we could call her, holder for the 1.3 ounce mini candles. Last year they released a set of 4. There was a jack-o'-lantern, a skeleton face, Frankenstein, and a black cat. They were a little bit smaller than this, and they retailed for I think $5 or $5.50. This year they just have Frankenstein and the jack-o'-lantern coming back, as well as Mrs. Frankenstein. So they dropped the cat and dropped the skeleton. Definitely a smaller Halloween product lineup this year compared to last year, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, as long as they do lots of good things for fall. With this, it's definitely larger though than last year's, so I'm not sure how well they'll match up next to each other. I mean, that's a lot of hair going on there with her, and it's actually kind of difficult to get the candle to get it in here. Like, you either have to drop it or kind of slide it in there, and then, it'll be difficult to light it once it's in there, so I'm not sure. Maybe will just end up being more decorative, but either way, whatever. Then the 2 candles I got here, I just really wasn't sure what to get to reach my $30, because I didn't want to get just the candle and another single wick, because I did want the decorative figural thing. So I figured I would get 2 for $5 with these, and I just went with 2 standard scents that I love that I could start burning now. Autumn and Marshmallow Fireside, can't go wrong with those. See my other videos for in-depth reviews of those. But the reason we're all here today, of course, is Bonfire Maplewood, which I'm super excited about. Before we get into that, I just wanted to go through some of the information that I learned today and over the past couple of weeks. Some of this information you may have heard on Facebook or with other videos, but again, if you haven't seen anything, then this may be new to you. And there's definitely some new information based on, I think, what I learned today. So I talked with a manager at one of the stores, and she said that certainly Labor Day or possibly before then we should see a 2 for $20 sale, and she believes that there may be one even sooner than Labor Day. That could just be in test stores. I know that sometimes they run different promotions than the standard nationwide full stores, but it's subject to change. Who knows? There's nothing confirmed either way. Now, with Bonfire Maplewood, originally I spoke with someone at one of the test stores a few weeks ago, and I was told that it was maple syrup, cardamom, and blonde woods. And then on the website, up until just about a week ago or so, it read coffee bean liqueur, rich hazelnut, and creamy marshmallow. This cozy fragrance feels just like a gathering around a crackling bonfire. I believe also that the woman I spoke with a few weeks back mentioned that it was maple syrup, cardamom, and again, the blonde woods. But it reads differently on the label here, just a slight bit, but we'll get into that when I do the full review on it. Just reading through a list of the remaining candles that we've yet to see for the second wave of fall scents. It looks like, in my opinion, it's actually going to be a little bit less than I'd expected. I thought that pretty much everything from last year would come back and then they would add, maybe 20 or 25 cents to it, because it seemed like in the springtime they really did bring back nearly everything from years past, or at least last year, with just a few small exceptions. And they added, of course, greatly onto it with the different lines that they had going. But this year, with fall, it seems like they're going a different way a little bit, which is fine. And I think that Christmas will hit fairly soon. So as far as holiday candles, so I don't think we'll have a super long fall with these. So I also think that once the 2 for $20 hits, the first one in September, or maybe if there's one during the fragrance event on September 15th, definitely grab what you want to get, because who knows how long will all last before, holiday and winter jumps in there. But I learned that it looks like Pumpkin Patch probably will not be returning, which is a shame because it was one of my favorites. I know Karen sent away. She greatly prefers that to Sweet Cinnamon Pumpkin, and I do agree with her on that. I think there's a possibility, though, that it could be coming back under a different name, the way that Autumn Apple essentially is Farm Stand Apple, and of course the way Acorn and Fig is Autumn Day. I do think it could come back because I've got a list of a few other candles here that, again, this may be info you've heard before, but if not, then certainly stay tuned. So first up, we've got, as confirmed to a test store, don't know if it'll go, these will all go to all stores or what, if they're in a testing phase or not, is Cedarwood Oak, which I don't have the notes for, Chocolate Bacon Cupcake, which I don't have the notes for. I believe she mentioned them to me last month, and it was pretty basic, bacon and chocolate and cupcake, so there wasn't anything super, exciting there. Pumpkin Carvings, which she said is pumpkin, brown sugar, and vanilla. Now this is the one that I think could hopefully be just a repackage of Pumpkin Patch, because Pumpkin Patch was billed as fresh pumpkin, ground cinnamon, brown sugar, and vanilla cream, which makes it sound more foodie than I think it smells, or it smelled in years past. But with these three notes hitting the same, I think there's a decent chance that Pumpkin Carvings could be Pumpkin Patch, I hope. She also mentioned Farm Apple Cookie. I didn't get the notes on that. Blueberry Pumpkin Patch, which I didn't get the notes on that, but she mentioned that she doesn't think that that's Pumpkin Patch with blueberry added to it necessarily, but I didn't get the notes on it. And then she mentioned she was super excited for Sweater Weather, which I asked what it was. I asked her if what sort of fresh candles are coming as far as not just the gourmand or the festive ones. And she mentioned that it is eucalyptus, juniper berries, and there's a third note that I believe she said was vanilla. So I'm pretty excited for that. I think that I love eucalyptus candles, eucalyptus as a note. One of my, I wouldn't say one of my favorite, but I really, really love the signature Slacken & Co. eucalyptus, just straight up eucalyptus that's only available on the website, and I think actually is now sold out for the past few months. Really, really intense, pure, strong eucalyptus. Of course, you know it with eucalyptus spearmint, eucalyptus mint, and I believe a few of the holiday candles, maybe holly wreath, might have had some eucalyptus in it, maybe frosted tree. A few other pine scents over the years have had eucalyptus in them as well. But if this is eucalyptus, juniper berries, and vanilla, I think there's a chance that this would be a really nice, fresh, intense, sort of that outdoor air without being a mountain air, mountain leaves, cologne-y sort of scent. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And another one that other people have mentioned is roasted pumpkin butter, but the manager or the rep I spoke with didn't mention that one to me. So again, the ones that I have as, like, she read from a guide are Cedarwood Oak, Chocolate Bacon Cupcake, Pumpkin Carvings, Farm Apple Cookie, Sweater Weather, and Blueberry Pumpkin Patch, which, again, seems kind of strange. So that's that. Good things to look forward to. She said by 9/5 they should be everywhere, or at least in her store. So hopefully they'll start trickling in before that, and I'll have some more reviews for you because I'm excited about those. The second wave generally seems to usually include the odd scents, the ones that are testers that may not make it. We started with the Fresh Market line in January, and by March they had the Tomato Garden, the Peach Lavender, the Honeydew and Thyme, all of that, sort of the stuff that didn't end up making it that I really enjoyed. So, but to get into the star of the show today, Bonfire Maplewood. So wasn't sure what to expect with this one. The website said coffee bean, hazelnut, marshmallow. The rep I spoke with said maple syrup, cardamom, and blonde woods. Where do you go with that? So really nice. I love the label here. It really is like a festive crackling bonfire. Of course, as the line we're familiar with this fall, this is the gold lid White Barn candle line. And the notes on this are: this cozy fragrance, inspired by gathering round the crackling fires of fall, combines sweet fig, cardamom, warm vanilla, and firewood notes. So we believe that is blonde woods, because she did mention that to me from her pocket guide. The fig, the cardamom, warm vanilla. So let me take a sniff of this. Trying to think of what I could compare this to. And there's really not a lot. It's very unique. It's not super, super crazy intense. It doesn't have the intensity of Fireside or Marshmallow Fireside or of other sort of spiced, outdoorsy ones from last fall, such as Sleigh Ride or Deck the Halls, that had the really pungent scent. It's slightly sweet. slightly spiced, a little bit of the wood, not a strong wood. I'd almost say that even though it's maple wood listed in the note, I'm not getting any sort of maple syrup, nothing sweet mapley like that. Perhaps some maple wood as far as the actual tree, the scent of the wood itself with the resin of the maple. But not even... I forget what I was going to say, but not even as strong as, sort of the woods that you find in a mahogany teak wood, any black pepper bergamot, any sort of aromatherapy that has woods in it. It's very light. I can see why it would be called a blonde wood. I hate to keep saying here, but this is really an intriguing scent that's hard to describe. The fig, I wouldn't say it's fruity at all, so I don't so much see the fig, maybe a creamy fig, similar to the fig that you would find in acorn and fig, but on the flip side, it really doesn't smell anything like autumn day acorn and fig. And the throw, smelling it now, is not super intense. It's there, but it's not overwhelming. It doesn't hit you with those intense scents. I'm almost at a loss. I would say it's really one of those scents where they're sort of branching out and testing things, because they could have just dripped this in really sweet mapley, thrown a little bit of fire in it, and made it, a sister to Marshmallow Fireside, but a cheap imitation of Marshmallow Fireside, which of course stands on its own as a fantastic scent. But this one really is a little bit different. It doesn't go as far as like a Winter Night or an Amber Woods or even Sleigh Ride Deck the Halls. It reminds me a little bit of a fall version of Winter Cabin from last year, which was a really creamy, woodsy, but like creamy, chestnut, slightly with that sort of caramely foodie, but very, very little. It's not heavy on the bakery notes or the sweet cream or the caramel or the hazelnut sort of dripping sweet treats kind of thing. It definitely... Oh, that reminds me, I believe there was one other candle that the rep mentioned to me that was crunchy toffee, some sort of foodie scent that sound like a crunchy, brittly, along the lines of the notes I'm discussing now. Something like that's supposed to come with the second wave of fall that I forgot to mention before. But I would say there's a bit of sort of that Winter Cabin scent to this. There's also, I think, someone on Facebook, if you're watching, please comment. I'd love to hear more of your thoughts, because it's always pretty interesting what you say. Someone on Facebook's Bath & Body Works timeline said that they thought that Lavender Caramel was reworked into Deck the Halls, and that last fall, winter, and that Deck the Halls was reworked into Bonfire Maplewood. And I can certainly see a little bit of what they're talking about, where this has a little sort of savory something to it that you can't really put your finger on. Not so much herbal, not so much sweet, not so overly woodsy, but just a little sort of aromatic in there that you can't place. So I would definitely say it is similar to that. If I had to choose, I'd say a mix of, 60% Winter Cabin sort of feelings. Again, not exact notes or a match of scents, but sort of the feeling that it evokes. Like 60% Winter Cabin and maybe 20 or 30% Deck the Halls without being so intense and sort of strange. And then do the rest just sort of its own thing, a little bit of the Fireside, a little bit of the Marshmallow Fireside thrown in there. So overall, it's a really interesting scent. I don't know that it's going to be a must-have for everyone. It's not a super, super strong scent, at least so far, so I'm not sure what it'll be like when we burn it, but I really like it. I'm always excited when there's something new that is a little bit more masculine, a little bit more conceptual, a little more woodsy, herbal, aromatherapeutic, whatever it is, away from the bakery. I always get excited to find things like that. So Bonfire Maplewood certainly fits the bill for me in that aspect. So we'll see what happens when it burns. Certainly, you may love it, you may hate it. I'd be interested to see what other folks think of it once you sniff it. So I guess that's about it for now. I have rambled on as usual. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. I'd be happy to dig into them and help out where I can. And certainly, if you have questions about past videos, please let me know as well. And until next time, take care.